There's no rush, but if you do see her, I'll get him out here, please. Lay down. Shouldn't be up. Let's get back on the bed, Lou. Ethan, right, clear?
Well, I guess that's one way of dealing with Nurse Ratched. Hey guys, welcome back to part 2, Total Control 871. And tonight we are talking about medical personnel who abuse their patients. Tonight we've been talking about Atlantic Care medical staff, both as of late and as well as going back as far as almost 20 years ago. Our part 1 ended as I was recounting how the abuse and discrimination caused a psych trauma, which initiated my first contemplations of suicide. Is it worth living this life? Almost 20 years later, I'm sorry, despite my best efforts, I'm having a great deal of difficulty finding worth in life that it should be lived. I am very acute in my analysis. I believe I've spoken with you guys in prior videos about the It Gets Better campaign. It Gets Better, exclusively speaking to LGBT people. I was discriminated at my place of employment for having long hair as a man. It is deemed by their corporate white male standards that that I did not look enough like a man for them. I'm sure there are those who are very quick to jump to the place of employment's defense and say that is dress code. I had other black people agree with the casino. I even had a couple of I even had other gay people agree with the casino. What they don't understand is that, could you imagine dark-skinned black people being terminated and myself being retained for employment? What would your complaint be? They don't hire black people? What do you mean? They got me? That they don't hire black people who look too black, which is which is what was happening to me. Excuse me, popping the halls. I was a gay man that basically looked too gay. I'll just leave it there. As far as the description of the whole thing, I was a gay man that looked too gay. They had other gay employees there at the casino, but as long as they didn't look anything outside the parameters of, I will say this. I got my gambling buddy, ex-roommate, gambling. He likes his casinos and things. I say gambling buddy, by the way. I don't go gambling. No, he is a buddy that likes to gamble. Okay. He comes by, scoops me up, and takes me to the buffet. Please, no jokes. I tag along for the buffet, but that's about it. Anyway, there at the Borgata. But it's not just the Borgata, it's actually quite a few of the casinos from what I am understanding. Do I want to segue? How far do I want to segue? I was shocked like hell to see how Generation X exploded in the casinos. Every kind of television show in the 80s are slot machines now. So they pander heavily to Generation X. The casinos have now, 20 years later from my discrimination and abuse, they have loosened certain things. There's so much I want to say. Somebody, what was it? That was documentary, vintage, casinos, Atlantic City. And there was one of those black and white photos from the newspaper. And there was a line outside of people waiting to get into the newly commissioned casinos. It's like in the 70s, and right when gambling was authorized, and okay, Atlantic City. And what the reporter pointed out was that all the men standing in line, they had on sport blazers. There was a dress code for the customers, for the guests. You had to look a certain way just to get into their casino. Make of that what you will. But anyway, yeah, so, and now, here we are all these decades later, I suppose you could even say, what was it? I was in the Borgata and walking along, and banner hanging from the ceiling of basically two sensual women kissing. I had a straight buddy, not the one that I was there with. HLA. Hot lesbian action. Apparently that's a turn on for you straight guys. But it also became clear that they weren't just simply pandering to straight white men or men of any color really, with the whole HLA thing. There was a concerted effort to reach out to the LGBT community. All the casinos were doing it. All of them. And the overhead PA. Apparently there's LGBT discount nights for the hotel rooms. Don't ask me how they qualify who's LGBT. They probably don't. It's probably open to anybody that's willing to claim and invoke the discount. I would assume. I don't see the casino getting into that kind of liability, but the point is there's a concerted effort being made now to reach out to the LGBT community. Gee, wow, where was that at decades ago? When people like me were being perceived as freaks. Oh, that's right. The 08-09 collapse. And suddenly your ass became desperate. Nobody had disposable cash. The only thing left in those casinos were die-hard addicts. People who probably belonged in a Gamblers Anonymous meeting. That's all that was left in the casinos. So they became very desperate. They had their epiphany way too fucking late. Because I get what they want. They were clutching on to. They were clutching on to the octogenarians. Okay, they were clutching on to the octogenarians that would bristle at a man having long hair. Um, they would bristle at that, but that demographic is dying off. Anyway, I think I made my point. So here we are in today's times. It gets better. It did get better. It's currently getting better, but it's always too fucking late for me. Every time I see something getting better, it's always too late for me. You know, hey, I'm shocked like hell that I'm housed. Okay, I seriously did not see this happening. Um, I didn't see this happening. This is definitely a wild rarity, and and don't think for one instant that I take it for granted or that I don't appreciate it as the depression pulls on me. But if I am about to become seriously ill, okay, look at what I am left with. You know, the kind of care that so many minorities are left with. Um, what the police have done to me is a form of psychological damage that is permanent and everlasting. I will never get over from this. Okay, so you know, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Nurse Jody that was the nurse, I believe, the psych nurse when I was there almost 20 years ago. These people do so much damage to you. People who are supposed to care, people who are supposed to be there to help you, and you end up that much worse, that much more damaged. The police have done this. My driver's license is forever illegally suspended. I think it's gone off into collections. It's thousands, thousands to bring it back. And frankly, I couldn't care if the eminent power of some judge were to appear, were to say to me, just slide me one penny across the desk and I will restore your driver's license. That will be one penny that they will never get. I will not pay one fucking cent. I am not guilty. I committed no crime, and I will pay no fine. This is what I wake up with. I wake up with the trauma that Dr. Pinkerton, uh, Nurse Jody, the security officer, my own nonprofit that I can't be sure if I can even trust them if they're being trustworthy with me, because it's not about the furniture. I don't know if I can trust them. My own sister, she had a very bad setback. You know, I don't want to get too weird and existential on you, but I also have to keep in mind, um, if what I'm feeling is somehow connected to my sister. I know I'm getting about to get real weird with you guys now. I don't I don't go in for all that psychic, mystic, medium shit. But for whatever reason, my sister and myself, we are connected and we are attached. I'm not saying it's straight up Tomac, Zaymont, G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe. the twins. I'm not saying it's quite like that, but yeah, like when my sister had her initial breakdown, I was working at Planet Hollywood, and I just had an overwhelming feeling to book a flight and go to Michigan. Mind you, to my knowledge, my sister was in college in Minnesota, not Michigan. But that's where the compulsion told me to go. And yeah, I ultimately learned that she had her breakdown and had returned to Michigan to recover. um there were other weirdo incidents that I've had with I kept having like waking dreams, not quite a dream, not quite a of her in the hospital with her head bandaged up. And well, thank God there was no actual physical trauma, but still, head bandage, obviously something wrong with. And I learned that anyway. Um, my sister had a setback. She spent about a month in the hospital. Um, she went in Christmas Day and got out late January. And I'm wondering if the depression that I'm feeling, if it has something to do with, because I just learned about it a couple of weeks ago, you know, and but yeah, ever since the whole Atlantic Care Pinkerton thing, it's just been a lot of added weight, a lot of added depression. I don't know, maybe the depression it is having an adverse effect on my physical health. Um, I think a couple days ago I thought my cough was getting better, but apparently it's not. Um, the right side of my stomach's getting harder, denser, whatever. Do I even want to know what the fuck's going on in there? Probably not. Um, every damn day, it's just endless depression, trauma. You wake up with the battle scars every day. You wake up with these fucking stigmata injuries, wounds that never heal. It's every day. And people like Aaron Bowes and Pinkerton and Jody and Officer Burke and Heath Purr, Kevin Devlin, Jeremy Hartman. These are people who will never be brought to justice, and I will forever be expected to just be a good sport. Don't get violent, like our psych patient beating the shit out of Dr. Gray. I bet that felt good. I bet that felt real goddamn good. But I'm expected to hold on. Be a good little nigga. Tamed. A tamed tiger. Is that what I'm expected to be? No. So, I'm worried about my sister. I'm worried about my sister more than I'm worried about myself. My sister needs a bed. I'm going to have to take most likely what's going to be hundreds of dollars of my own disability check and buy her a mattress. Hopefully, one of my family members will be willing to, well, I'd like them to also, if they can help pitch in, help pay for it. Probably not. Take her shopping at the store down there. I have to figure out how I would get it paid for. I don't know if they take my card information over the phone or not, but my sister's bed situation is extremely bad. That's what caused her setback. people are saying that she wasn't taking her medicine. She was exhausted. Her bed is completely caved in. So we've already talked about it on the channel. When people don't have adequate rest, you can expect psychosis to soon follow. Doesn't make a difference if you have a history of it or not. Okay, again, referencing our UK reality show, Rich Kids Go Homeless. Irritability and restlessness is the very first thing that they begin to feel, even before hunger. And that form of irritability, that even happens even with them fully knowing that they have a home to go to in 3 days. You know, if you don't have a home and your homelessness is real, you know. But my sister did not have adequate rest, and yes, no amount of medication is going to be able to stabilize you for that. I'm worried about my sister. You know, I'll have to, I don't know. Looks like I'm going to go into the red on my utilities already. I don't think my deposits are completely paid for. You pay a deposit on your utility little by little. And before I pay utilities here, I'm going to have to make sure my sister has a bed. And that's going to come before my utilities. That'll come before my food. I'll probably eat out the food bank this month. I just simply need her to be well. I love my sister. I cherish my sister. She means everything to me, more than my own life. I would have been fucking killed myself. You know, and it's a peculiar relationship. I really don't like to say this part at all, because I definitely don't want my sister, you know, stumbling upon this, but there is a form of resentment that I have a sister, you know, because she does love me. The only person in the world that loves me. That's it. Nobody else. Nobody else. My suicide would be so much more easier, so much more less complicated if she just simply, you know, had never existed. And that's a fucked up thing to say, you know, but I love her so much. And so that's what we're doing. I don't know. Do I want to do a part 3? What's my time? It's 23. There's so much crap that I could probably say. I got a huge log jam in my head. Huge log jam in my head. But yeah, ironic. Ellen's on NBC. NBC was the channel that I reached out to all the channels, you know, 18 years ago. Can anybody help me? Can you run a story? You know, the guy at NBC said, well, you know, if we need a human interest story, a human interest piece. Wow. So what is currently trending today of headline news would get what? Put in the cute pet section of the newspaper? You know? If we need a human interest story, if it's a slow news day, maybe. And of course, even then, they weren't interested. I don't hate the young man for getting the celebrity help. God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight. Things will eventually get better. It's just too late for me. The depression. I don't even want to tell you how sedentary I've been as of late. I think I went out to the market a couple days ago and I had to actually pump up my tires. That's that's not that's highly unusual for me. Um, that the bike would sit that long, that the air would start that it would need to be repressurized. I just am tired of every day living with this. I don't know. I wonder what Google thinks of all this shit. I'm not the only person that does this in- internet vlog therapy. Internet vlog therapy. What does that mean? All these people with their how much you take on? Huh, Pinkerton? How much was your fucking student debt? Oh, excuse me, that's right. He's a Jew. He probably oh, low blow, low blow. Oh my god. Oh man. Low blow. What was that I was saying? I had came up with a little interesting thing about Jewish oligarchy. Yeah, I guess I'm switching gears here. Um, I'll close out with this. Maybe I know. Oh my God, he's talking more anti-Semitic talk. If you yourself were a young aspiring star, you wanted to be, you hear about it and you get your break but then all of a sudden, just humor me with this. If you had to either piss off, I mean, just trash the relationship, no redeeming it, no coming back from it. If you had a choice between trashing, if you yourself are a up and coming young stand up comic, you could trash your relationship with Jamie Foxx or trash your relationship with Adam Sandler. You had to pick one or the other. Uh-huh. Okay. Or how about this? You could either choose between trashing your relationship as a young up and coming actor, comedian, whatever the fuck it is that you do, singer, whatever it is, You could choose between trashing your relationship, and it has to be all three. Tom Cruise, Robert Downey Jr., I don't know who's big. How about Patriot Act dude Hassan Minaj? Yeah, he's not as big as those other guys, but the point is, okay. So you could trash or totally unredeeming, can't come back from it. Nothing you could do to say sorry to these people, or those three celebrities you could maintain a good relationship, but you'd have to trash your relationship with Andy Cohen. Unredeemable. I say this, I make these comparisons to prove to you the existence of the Jewish oligarchy. Okay? There's no way in the world you would trash the Jew. To do so would completely annihilate any hopes at all. So what we got here, 29. Yeah, any hopes at all. I point this out. I don't just simply jump on these things. I get it. I'm not popular. What was I doing? I was watching a documentary about Sammy Davis Jr. I'm not saying dude did everything right. Matter of fact, Sammy wouldn't say that he did everything right. He was called all kinds of fucking Uncle Toms, and he was very much indeed out of favor. Ironically enough, because he's Jew, or allegedly Jew. I'm sorry, Sammy, but the way you spent money, you're not Jewish. Anyway, but yeah, he said a lot of things that were unpopular, and that's what I do. I say a lot of things that are unpopular. It's not that I hate Jewish people, they just so happen to be at the helm of what is wrong. Okay? Um, with all these, pivoting now to nonprofits, homelessness, and all of this ridiculous whack-a-mole, they're definitely talking about the whack-a-mole. And it's like if all like I got a septic system here. It's like if it all backs up into the sink, the bathroom sink, the tub, washing machine, all this, are you gonna sit there and attack each and every last single, thing? No, the clog is out in the septic system. That's what has to be attacked. You pull that clog and everything else drains and rights itself. Um, who owns the real estate? Who sets the price for the real estate? Time have I got? It's time to go. I guess maybe we'll do a financial report. I don't know. I do feel a little bit better. If you stuck around for part two, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I do. I feel better. I know. I say things you guys don't like, but hey, it's a battle. All right. That's it for now. Total Control 871.